All people present in Asphodel, I'm going to tell you all the tale of my death and how a single man managed to turn my life upside down in the matter of a day. I guess one could categorize Odysseus and I's friends during early adolescence, but that surely did not impact my future perspective of him as a man. Who is Odysseus, you ask? He is a rich, selfless slob that does not deserve his wife or his riches, which is why I enjoy him being dead. I am one of the leading suitors of Odysseus' wife, Penelope, but am more focused on retaining my spot in his household. I, along with the other suitors, consume his wealth at our pleasure without seeing anything close to a consequence. After the Trojan War had ended, the entire city was eager for Odysseus' return. Well, excluding me, of course. 7 years after the war ended, Menelaus, a Greek fighter alongside Odysseus, returned to Ithaca, but did not return with the king himself. This action gave hope to all the suitors, who eventually came to the realization that the king might not ever return, and that one of us could actually marry Penelope. This struck the perfect opportunity to pounce and claim a position in the household, knowing or at least hoping that the king's body lay dead somewhere. Things were going near perfectly, consuming all the positive attributes that came along with being king, until one day it had come to my attention that Telemachus was out to retrieve news of his long-lost father. This brought a scare to me, and I'm sure to many of the other suitors as well, knowing that if the boy came back with good news, all the suitors would be booted from the palace. We decided to set out a ship a little ways before the harbor and kill the boy prior to his return. With the boy being gone, more power was gained amongst the suitors. I became more cavalier, knowing there was no one that I had to put a fake face on to partially please, more of a leader, and we started consuming wealth in larger increments. In the end, our plan of murdering Telemachus failed. All us suitors were eager to take Penelope's hand in marriage because it would result in a permanent spot in the household. Penelope struck a deal with the suitors, claiming that she was weaving a shroud for Laertes, and when she was done, she would decide on a suitor to marry. This marked the perfect opportunity to make Odysseus cringe in the underworld, and in turn, would put a beautiful smirk on my face. We waited and waited, but the shroud was never finished. 3 years had passed before we were told that at night, when we were all asleep, she would unweave all she had done the previous day. This was clearly cheating the agreement, so we forced her to finish. But the question still remained: who would be the one who received the spot in Odysseus' household? After a substantial passing of time, Penelope decided that her hand would go to whatever man could string Odysseus' bow and fire it through 12 axe handles. Psh, a task I could do with my eyes closed and one hand tied behind my back. After a couple of the weak suitors failed to even string the bow, let alone shoot it through the axes, I thought I'd go so I could claim my prize and get on with my day. I was shocked at my inability to string the bow. For a brief second, I admitted defeat and praised the renowned Odysseus, but Antinous got my head on right again. This was the perfect opportunity to achieve all the wealth I wanted, and the only thing that stood in the way was a bow. During our feast after the first failed day, some random beggar asked if he could try his hand at the bow. After quibbling over it for a couple minutes, it was decided the mooch could attempt, but would not get to marry royalty if succeeding. I, along with the other suitors sitting at the feast, were shocked when the beggar strung it and shot it through the axes with little to no effort. The fool then stood up and claimed he was the king himself. My anxiety building, I began to feel my palms moisten with sweat. An arrow went straight through the throat of the subordinate leaning suitor, Antinous. It became clear to me that this was, in fact, Odysseus. I tried to calm him down, claiming that he had a reason to be frustrated, but we had gotten what we deserved with the death of our leader. I attempted to set him up so I could blindside him, but he did not bite, and war was declared between suitors and royalty. The sight of the battlefield was gruesome, in the aspect that the wrong men were falling to their death. My men. I took a stand against Odysseus and sprinted at him full force, but in the end did not achieve the result I was hoping for. I was struck in the nipple by Odysseus' arrow and dropped to the floor dead, marking the end of my quest for Odysseus' wealth. Eupathes, Antinous' father, tried to avenge us suitors, but was also struck down by Odysseus' powerful bow. Zeus and Athena then proclaimed peace between the two sides before another war broke out, and Odysseus reclaimed his spot as king of Ithaca. Not all stories end happily. The reason I share this tale with all you random people sitting in Asphodel is to portray the horrendous attitude and personality of Odysseus. I hope that you all will join me in resenting him for his momentous change in the way suitors act. This is not a good change. Good day.